Good afternoon to you. My name's Wayne. I am the Lone Cybertronian. Thank you very much for joining me on the next review, as it were. So, still continuing with the Stunticons. Today's paranoid android is Breakdown. One that I have a lot of fond memories of. My brother had the G1 toy of Breakdown for a long time before he even completed the set, so I got used to seeing him in the toy boxes. And with his anxiety as well, I also relate to him quite heavily because I suffer with it myself. And the fact that he's actually got quite a nice Combiner Wars figure as well helps. So yeah, here we go, going for a breakdown with Breakdown. Let's see how we get on. Okay, here we go. So as always, starting in robot mode, here is Breakdown in his bot form. Pretty G1 accurate colour wise, so you've got like the off-white and the blue coming through with a lot of silver detailing. I do love that little Decepticon symbol there on his chest. I think that's a nice little touch. Nice bright red face, and I can't tell if the eyes are painted, but he's got a little chip missing off the end of his nose, this one, because of the way he transforms. That's just the way I've been doing it though, so that's my fault. But yeah, he looks very much like Breakdown should. Now, there's a lot of talk about the issues with this mould on the hips, and I am inclined to agree that they are an absolute nightmare. I could see what they were going for, but they just don't lock into place, so these hip joints have a nasty habit of just moving about whenever and wherever they want to. And as a result, you can never quite get them to stand the way you want them to. And as you can see, look, even there, look, with the legs flat, he's still leaning to one side, so you're trying to modge things about, and it can be a bit of a pain. You can get them to pose with some perseverance, but that's the main gripe that everyone has with this mould. Sunstreaker, who is obviously a retool of this particular mould, suffers with it as well. It's just a mould thing. So that could have been better, but generally speaking, he is actually quite a nice looking figure. So posability wise, we'll start with heads on a ball joint, as you come to expect from these guys. Arms going forwards, backwards and out to the side, because again it's on a ball joint. We've got double elbows, including the forearm there on a ball joint again, so there's ball joints everywhere. So yep, nice double hinge there, so it folds up. That's for transformation, but I'm not going to argue. The wrists are sat in place, so there's no wrist swivel or anything like that. Waist swivel, yep, there is, because obviously he can become an arm for Menasor, and that becomes like the elbow joint. So yep, we've got wrist swivel there for days. Legs are coming out to the side, forwards, backwards. So plenty going on there. Knees, yep, present and correct. And I think, nope, we have no ankle tilt or anything on these. These came out just before it became a common thing. But again, the same as the dead end slash breakneck mould. His feet naturally stand him in a little bit of an A stance. So yeah, he is actually quite a nice looking figure, and I do appreciate him quite a lot. Weaponry wise, now this is where things get good. Obviously, he has the combiner part again, so it can become a hand or a foot. His is slightly different purple compared to everyone else's. It's kind of almost like a muted purple compared to the kind of brighter purple of the other ones. Don't know why that is. But yeah, you can do all the usual things that can turn into a gun or a hand or a foot or whatever. And what I like to do with Breakdown here, one thing you can do as well, because it works on Sunstreaker, and it ideally is for Sunstreaker, I think, is you can plug, there's a hole there in the back of the car bonnet, and you can plug that in there, and it just stores on his back like that. So you've got the two pipes coming up over his shoulder. As I say, it's meant for Sunstreaker, but it does work with Breakdown as well. Personally, I prefer to give it to him as a massive blaster though. So you can put it into his hand, and I sometimes have him undersling it as well, because he can hold it underneath. In fact, I'll do that now just because I can. Had him sat on my desk at work earlier with it underslung, and I just quite like that look. Gives him kind of a heavy weapon kind of feel. Plus it is it is pretty sizable, so it makes sense for him to hold it like a heavy weapon. And then his normal weapon, which I absolutely adore, is this little thing here. So, I mean, primarily it's a sword, but it's also a gun, because that in there is clearly some kind of ammunition storage right in the middle there. It looks like an ammunition drum, and that looks like a gun barrel, and you can hold it as a gun. So that, to me, is a gun blade, and that's one of the coolest combinable weapons you can have. So I'll put it in his hand as a sword for the time being. But yeah, I really like that, and I was really pleased, and Sunstreaker gets it as well, so I was pleased on that front as well, because I like Sunstreaker. But yeah, there is Breakdown in his robot mode, looking all tooled up and ready to rumble. And yeah, I really quite like him. He's nothing special, he's not world-beating or anything like that, but there's not much wrong with him. As I say, the only problem I have is that when I transformed him a few times, he's just taken a nick of paint off his nose. Just got a little bit of blue showing, but I am not going to argue with that. Anyway, so that is Breakdown in his robot mode. What do we think of the vehicle mode? Yes, now we're talking. So this is Breakdown in his car mode. I'm not sure what car it's based on. As I always say, I'm not very good with cars. I'd say it's possibly a Lamborghini of some description, like Sunstreaker and Sideswipe's kind of alt modes, but yeah, I'm no car expert. I did have a quick look at his face when I was transforming him. He does actually have purple painted eyes, which look really nice when you get them in the right light. But yeah, he's got the sticker, he's got the tampo here, which I think is representative of the original stickers, and the red on the front, which again was a sticker on the original Breakdown, if I remember correctly. And he looks glorious. He looks really, really nice. I really like him quite a lot in his vehicle mode. And say the off-white and then just the blue highlights and the red really makes him look quite sleek and quite groovy. I love the little headlights details along the sides here as well. His transformation's not too difficult. Everything just snaps and pops into place. And his vehicle mode is pretty damn solid. Rolls, as you'd expect, not on my laptop, but if you put it on a carpeted surface or anything like that, then yeah, it will roll. There is some clearance in there. One of the things I do like about this guy is the weapon storage in vehicle mode. So he has got the hole at the top of his roof, so you can just do a dead end or a breakneck and just plug the gun in like that, and it actually looks a bit better on him than it does dead end and go, because he's quite flat and the gun's quite flat, so it kind of lines up. However, that is not the intention, because if you look at his combiner port, he's got two combiner piece, he's got two little notches just below the barrels there and there, and then he has two little tabs there and there just next to the hole. And what you're supposed to do is line them up, and then on the back of his on the back of the thumb here, there's a tab and a hole just in the back of the spoiler. Clumsy me. And if you line everything up the way it's supposed to, he says, not lining everything up how it's supposed to. One moment, I will get this. That goes there. And then that just tabs into the back like that. And as you can see, it just rests on the top of his vehicle mode. Again, a Sunstreaker throwback, I think, because obviously this combiner piece for Sunstreaker is silver. And that's what it's supposed to represent, the engine block on Sunstreaker. But I am absolutely fine with it on Breakdown. Yeah, it looks a little bit strange, but it does give him a decently armed vehicle mode. It doesn't look too crazy, like it hasn't got weapons just sticking out. It actually sits flush on top of the vehicle, so I am absolutely fine with that. Now then, the gun blade. Now, I worked for ages to try and figure out where to store this thing, because they do have weapon storage everywhere on these, but I couldn't work out where this gun blade was supposed to go. I was plugging it into the back of there, doing a drag strip and having it coming at the back like that. And then I realised something. Maybe it's in the instructions, maybe it's not, maybe I'm just ignorant. But there is a little tab on top of the gun there. And looking at it, I was thinking, well, that has to be deliberate. I'm fairly sure that you can tab it into the slot in the side here, and that's where it stores. I mean, yes, it looks a little bit... Now you're starting to look a little bit ridiculous with weapons poking out all over the place, but it does store there. And I just thought that was a neat way of doing it, especially because that gives it a combat car kind of vibe, because the point obviously comes as a slashing thing, so if he decides to ram someone, then he can do. And then they've got the gun barrel as well, so it does give him a really armed look. And that's one of the cooler things, and it's much better than, as I said, with the Dead End's turret just sat on the top, which really frustrates me no end. I think you can store it backwards as well if you don't want it looking quite so egregious. Yeah, so it does store backwards as well, except then you've got the post sticking out near the front, so I think I prefer having it forwards to make the proper combat car. But yeah, that is my overall review of Breakdown. It's quite a positive one. As I said, he's not a world beater by any stretch, but considering he transforms into an arm, a leg, a robot mode, and a vehicle mode, I think he covers all bases quite well, and he looks really nice in both car and robot mode. So he might even be the best one to get on his own. So if you only wanted one of the Stunticons, to be a toss-up between Dead End / Breakneck and Breakdown, I think. But I must admit, I do really like him. And as I said, I bought the Sunstreaker mould as well, so I could complete the Optimus Prime combiner. And I really like the Sunstreaker version as well. But anyway, I'll waffle no longer. Thank you very much for joining me today for this review. I will keep them coming. There's not many left now. I think I've only got Dead End to do on his own, and then I'll do Menasor. As I say, I may do Blackjack as a quick one as well, just because I've got him and it'd be a shame to miss him out, and he is quite a nice little figure. I've been playing with him this afternoon. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or requests even, by all means drop them in the comments and I'll see what I can do. And with that, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.